this mythology. Paul's a connoisseur. Sarah has an interest, but it's all Greek to her. From Cronus's kids' weird childhood to what's going down in Hades' hood. These fables are bizarre but good. It's myth understood.
Whoa, okay. Hey, welcome to another edition of Myth Understood. Sarah, that metal voice you were sort of singing along with for our theme song made me really want to hear you record a metal version of our theme song.
I'm gonna need a lot of chamomile tea, but I can do it.
A lot of chamomile. You want a downer rather than an upper?
Well, I mean, I need a throat coat.
Oh, you need some throat coat. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that would do it. So we're continuing on with the expansive story that is the Trojan War, and you might think to yourself, maybe they will get into some battle today, but
You'd be wrong.
you would be wrong. Yeah,
More
God,
politics.
more things that set up the Trojan War are happening. But I promise by the end of today's episode,
You'll all be dead.
you'll we will be ready to start the Trojan War for realsies. Next time. But before we even get into that, I wanted to do something that I was actually inspired to do, sort of in part by comments that have been received on social media.
Oh my God, you're finally gonna punch me in the face.
And also just Sarah, are you familiar with that show Adam Ruins Everything?
Yeah.
Yeah, occasionally they get things wrong. And then they go back and they do another episode that says, "Oh, by the way, we got this wrong."
Mm-hmm.
And Greek mythology is sort of a difficult.
Is it called Adam is ruining himself when he does that?
I'm not sure, but it's sort of a difficult thing to just like call something wrong in Greek mythology because there are so many different conflicting sources that
Somehow you managed to do it.
somehow I managed to do it still. Yeah. The first thing I want to correct myself on is earlier when I was talking about Hercules and I talked about Megara, I incorrectly said that Bernadette Peters voiced Megara in the Disney movie.
Oh yeah, let's hit the ground running.
Yeah. I believed that my entire life. I watched a lot of Animaniacs growing up, and Bernadette Peters for sure did the voice of Rita in the little pieces Rita and Runt.
Google it before you say for sure.
I did actually.
All right.
So,
All right.
I wanted to make sure I wasn't wrong about that, and I was very familiar with that sort of alto, raspy voice. And so when Megara sings her song, to me it was just a very
No chance, no way.
yeah. It has sort of that like dry sort of like undertone. Like it has a lot of character to it. It turns out that was sung by Susan Egan. So the Greek goddess Susan Egan. And additionally, with my pronunciation, this is thing number 2 that I am admitting to getting wrong. I have been pronouncing names that have a CH at the beginning of them incorrectly. I've been pronouncing them with a ch sound, and they are definitely a hard C, which is sort of ironic coming from me with my last name being Bianchi that ends with a CHI. I should know that a CH sometimes is a hard C.
And also, your favorite fast food place is Kirk's Kitchen. Kitchen.
I get the joke that you attempted to make there, and I accept it.
Kirk is kicking.
Yeah, so good old Kirkus. But actually, that's what's interesting is when you say it like that, it gets really very close to the German word for church. So way to go. Yeah.
Got to go to the Kirkus. That was more Swedish.
Kirche, I believe is church in German.
So go to the Kirk.
Anyway, so when I was saying Chiron and Charon, Charon the ferryman and Chiron the centaur that everyone loves, it's Chiron and Charon, and which also sort of ruins my idea of Karen the ferryman who crosses, because Karen just sounds so much like the woman at the luncheon who complains about the pistachios.
Yeah.
Apologies if your name is Karen, but that was the first thing that came to my mind.
But you know it, Karen. You know how you are. People talk.
So Anyway, those are the two things I can think of right now. And feel free to let me know other ways that I am wrong.
They will.
They will. So we're gonna start today with Cassandra.
And spelled with a CH?
It is actually just a regular C. So, but it is pronounced Cassandra, at the very least colloquially at this point. So yeah, diving back into the Trojan War, where we last left the Trojan War, the Greek army was starting into formation. They got Achilles from his secret stay disguised as a woman.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. His like 80s comedy movie.
Yeah. And Helen of Troy was abducted by Paris or Helen of Greece was abducted by Paris and taken to Troy.
Mm-hmm.
And you might remember that it was foretold that he would lead to the destruction of Troy, and his parents abandoned him on the hillside, and he was raised separately. He also had two other siblings. He had the twin siblings, Cassandra and Helenus. And Cassandra was a princess of Troy. She was the daughter of King Priam and Queen Hecuba. And yes, fraternal twin sister to Helenus. Cassandra grew up both beautiful and clever, but unfortunately would be considered insane.
Oh.
Are you familiar at all?
Sounds fun.
Yeah, are you familiar at all with Cassandra? I feel like it's one of the myths that trickles down and makes its way into everyday life.
I'm not good with names. Let's hear the myth.
Okay, but you're familiar at least with the name Cassandra. You've met a few Cassandras.
Yeah, I've met Cassandras.
So why do you think Cassandra ended up being considered insane?
Does she have opinions on things? A woman back then.
She did, but that's not the reason specifically that she was considered insane. I'll give you a hint. A certain Greek god was struck with her beauty.
Oh God, Zeus did it
and wished to lay with her. Oh, okay, but it's not Zeus this time.
Oh,
who else is it? What are other likely?
Poseidon.
Not Poseidon.
Well, those are the two pussy kings.
A lesser pussy king. One that might drive someone to go insane.
Insanius.
Insanius. Cassandra, as she grew older, served as a priestess to Heavy the cupbearer. Yes. Cassandra served as a priestess to Apollo.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no. You needed to say psychopath.
And as such, had taken a sacred vow of chastity to remain a virgin for her entire life.
It's not going to work out.
And so, but unfortunately, she was seen by Apollo. Yo.
Oh, hello.
Hi, Cassandra, you're new serving at my temple.
Yes.
Yes.
Can I take your order?
That's not how this works. You serve me, but not like as a waitress.
Would you like an iced tea? A refill?
I would like a refill on my iced tea, though. Thank you so much. Listen, Cassandra, I'd very much like to lay with you.
Oh, like lay out, get a tan on the beach.
I mean, intercourse, coitus. Coitus isn't a Greek god. It's actually the more scientific name for the act.
I'm just an intern here. That would be inappropriate.
Well, I know that you took like a sacred vow of chastity and such. But it's sort of a sacred vow to me and my temple, and like it doesn't count if it's me.
It doesn't count?
No, it doesn't count. And also, more than that, if we do this, I will give you a very special gift.
The thing is, I'm just worried about going cock crazy.
That is a valid.
I wouldn't want to go insane with dick.
Well, we'll see what occurs. Can't promise anything. So, Apollo offers Cassandra the gift of prophecy.
Sounds like gift of his penis.
Well, that too. And Cassandra is a woman with opinions and wants, and the gift of prophecy sounds like a great way to help the people that in her life
and make a buck.
Sure.
She can't survive being a waitress forever. Trust me, I know.
So, according to Aeschylus, again, another name that has a CH in the middle of it that I've been pronouncing correctly, and I should have known that CHs are a hard C, but whatever. Aeschylus says that while they were in the throes of passion, Cassandra suddenly says, "No thanks, I don't really want to do this anymore. This isn't my cup of tea." And instead of being a decent human being, Apollo decides to spit in her mouth while he's kissing her. And his I didn't expect that would get a hard laugh from you.
I just have such a good visual of who Apollo is. This is on brand.
And when he spit in her mouth, it poisoned her gift of prophecy so that no one would ever believe her, despite her words always being true. So,
So he's a Me Too troll.
he is, yeah. So her cursed gift from Apollo became a source of endless pain and frustration. So like when I say she was considered insane, she wasn't actually insane, but everyone thought that she was. She was seen as a liar and a mad woman by her own family and by the Trojan people.
So wait, did he just alter the way people perceive her prophecies, not her prophecies?
Yeah, he's like, I'm still going to give you the gift, but now no one's going to believe you.
Got ya. So
Yeah.
she's speaking the truth.
Yeah.
At this point, just journal it.
In some versions of the story, she was locked up in like a pyramid-shaped building in the middle of the city by the orders of her father, King Priam. And she was driven truly insane by this by this act, the fact that her father didn't believe her, the fact that she was like dragged away and just constantly not being believed made her actually go insane.
Sure.
But who's to say really what occurred to Cassandra? And in other stories, Cassandra instructed her twin brother Helenus in
Oh, I didn't think that was a guy.
Oh, yeah, no, her twin brother Helenus. She instructed him in the power of prophecy so he too could be a prophet.
She spit in his mouth?
Probably. I mean, how else would she pass it on?
Exactly.
And so like her, Helenus was always correct whenever he made his predictions. But unlike his sister,
People listen to the dude.
people believed him. Yep. So that's part of the story that still holds true to this day.
Yeah. It's like anytime I'm in a group of people and I say a joke and then the guy next to me says it louder, he
Yeah.
gets to laugh. I'm talking about one person in particular.
Me?
No.
Me. It's me. So Cassandra made many predictions, and all of her prophecies were disbelieved except for one. And this was when she foresaw who Paris was and proclaimed that he was her abandoned older brother. And she was like, I see it. I see it. Okay, there's this farm boy who makes like crowns of people. No, that's not right. Crowns of daisies and gives them to people whose bull wins in his illegal bullfighting rings. Okay. Sarah, you're just sort of looking at me. Do you remember that from
Yeah.
the episode?
Remember that.
He had this bullfighting ring. Ares
freak.
challenged, and yeah. So this prophecy resulted in the reunion with his family, and that was seen as like the one, like, all right, my daughter's crazy, but at least she brought me another son. Thank God. So
What did they tell him? Like, oh, we've been looking for you.
we set you down at Walmart, and it just got crazy in there. They were rolling back prices, and you disappeared.
There are abandoned babies aplenty at Walmart.
So Cassandra foresaw that Paris's abduction of Helen for his wife would bring about the Trojan War and cause the destruction of Troy. She did warn Paris not to go to Sparta. She showed up at his door one day. She said, Paris,
Yeah.
don't put down that bag.
What?
Put down that bag. I know you're about to leave to go to
I'm
Sparta.
going to the grocery store.
No.
If I don't bring my own bag, they'll charge me.
I saw it. You were gonna try to take Helen as your wife, and she's already married. Bad idea, bro.
It's a great idea because she's hot.
I was really hoping when I prophesized that, like, oh my god, is this
something about you just makes you want to spit in your mouth?
I just opened my mouth and then you spit into my mouth. You're the worst. When I prophesized that you would be my brother and join me, I thought that you would. Oh my god, in my mouth again. I need to stop gawking. So yes, her warnings were ignored, and when Cassandra saw Helen returning to Troy, she just imagine like very like Prince Ali, like she arrives like a parade of like the most beautiful woman in the world has arrived here. Throw flowers at her. Everyone loves her. They're so excited to see her, and Cassandra just like runs out into the street and just like snatches like her golden veil off of her face and like pushes her in the mud and like pulls her hair and has like basically a 90s era like women's wrestling match in like the mud, like
yeah
yeah.
Wow.
And this of course results in Cassandra getting locked back up again. But and also Cassandra blaming
the woman.
Yeah.
How did you let yourself get kidnapped and bought?
Yeah, exactly. So that was a fun how do you do for Helen.
Do you think Helen at least got landed one in the mouth?
I think so. She's like the epitome of beauty and grace, but as soon as Cassandra shows up, she just like hawks a loogie at her. Yeah. So I wrote this in my notes. Major spoiler alert. Cassandra not only foresaw the destruction of Troy, she also warned the Trojans about hiding inside the Trojan horse, which, of course, you can imagine when she brings up that, like, hey, the Greeks are going to hide in a giant wooden horse. Like, it sounds like another bullshit lie. She learns of Agamemnon's death, her own demise at the hands of Clytemnestra. She learns of her mother's Hecuba's fate. She knows of Odysseus's 10-year wanderings before returning to his home. She knows of the later murdering of Clytemnestra by Electra. She basically spoiler alerts everyone, but no one believes her. They're just mad when they see it in the movie. They're like, she told me about this. But it's too late at this point. So yeah, that's basically where we leave Cassandra before the Trojan War occurs. But guess what? More tragic things are going to befall her because she just needs to get spit in the mouth more.
And boy, will I keep making that sound effect.
I look forward to it. So we're going to move on to the preliminary adventure of the Trojan War, which is sort of like in a long line of things that, like, when they're telling stories, like, hey, this is like the main story of the Golden Fleece. But before the Golden Fleece, this little weird random story happened.
Golden
Yeah.
shower.
There was a golden. There had been a golden shower. We got that too.
Yep.
We got it all. So before the Trojan War occurred, the Greek forces gathered at, and I'm going to butcher the pronunciation of this too. It is Aulis. 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 It's like
A-U. That's all I heard.
Aulis. Yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So all the suitors who were supposed to defend Menelaus and Helen, they kept their word except for King Cinyras of Cyprus. And
I'm Cinyras of Cyprus.
Yeah. And this was perhaps due to the fact that he was incredibly loyal to Aphrodite, who approved of the union of Paris and Helen. And thus he didn't want to dishonor her by actually following through with the pact that he made. So he did the things that he did follow through on was that he sent like 1,000 breastplates to Agamemnon, but he also had promised to send 50 ships, and he did send 50 ships, but only one of them was real.
I'm sorry?
The rest of the ships, the rest of the 49 ships were all, and I can only assume accurately sized. They were made of clay, which would have taken a very long time for this gag. And on the ships, he even built like figures of the men that were like had like dopey faces, like imitating the crew. He was like, "This is how stupid you guys look. You're made out of clay, and I made statues of you, and it took me so long to do this."
What? How do they float there?
You know, I don't know. He sent them by wagon. I don't.
Wow, what an arts and crafts day.
It really was. It actually probably ruined his entire kingdom.
Yeah.
We ran out of clay from like the mountainside.
No, guys, this is gonna be so dope. You're gonna laugh.
so we melted down some houses too, and yeah. So because of his treachery, he was cursed by Agamemnon, and he was also subsequently punished by, guess who?
Oh, Hera?
Apollo.
Oh, fuck.
He makes a second appearance in
No.
this. Apollo.
Oh, it's gonna be sick.
Is it sick? Okay. So Apollo shows up at Cinyras, just like, Cinyras. Hey, how's it going?
No, I'm Cinyras of Cyprus.
Are you Cyprus of Cinyras or Cinyras of Cyprus?
Yes.
You're both? Okay, well, it doesn't matter anyway. I came here to punish.
No.
So I heard that you know your way around the flute.
Are you gonna make me stick a flute up my ass?
No, I want to hear you.
Because I already have it up there.
I want to hear you. Wait, read the script. This says here. Repeat after me
Okay.
on the script.
All right.
I bet that I can play my flute better than Apollo.
I bet I can play my butt flute better than Apollo.
All right.
Stick it up your ass.
Now I have to teach you a mortal lesson about challenging the Greek gods. And so they have a musical contest because Apollo can't just like punish him. And when Apollo...
This is when sequels jump the shark.
Yeah.
He should have just stuck to the first time where he spit in a girl's mouth.
Exactly. Well, who's to say he didn't spit in his mouth? And after... In fact...
No one looks cool like jamming down music, flute versus flute.
Well, it was flute versus lyre or lyre.
Oh,
again, the word I still don't know how to pronounce. And when Apollo beats him, the only thing I have in my notes and the only thing I could find was that he just kills him. So let's say then, so to not disappoint you in your new love of Apollo's spitting ability, is that afterwards he spit in his mouth, and this time the spit like he spit so hard that it like shot through the back of his skull and murdered him.
All right.
So after Apollo does that to Cinyras, he had 50 daughters.
What? Who?
Cinyras had 50 daughters.
My God, how does he have time to fucking sculpt so much?
That's all he did. And all 50 of his daughters threw themselves into the sea in protest of his death.
That would be a sight to behold.
Yeah, it'd be like if you ever watched those like nature videos of where the lemmings jumping off the cliff. Yeah, it would be that. Or The Happening. It'd be like The Happening.
You eyeing my lemony drink, boy?
If you're listening and you haven't seen The Happening, boy, is that a terrible movie, and it is so fun to watch. So just full endorsement of me, at least. Endorsement from you, Sarah?
Yes, I endorse it highly.
Okay. So yeah, they all threw themselves into the sea, and guess what happened when they were thrown into the sea?
They turned into something.
You've said it before. What did they get turned into?
Birds.
They got turned into
fucking
birds.
Athena.
Yeah, Athena watched it happen.
Get out of here.
And she was like, no, all those women turned them into birds.
Bird.
That's actually where the origin of that song. She was just going, bird, bird, bird. Bird is the word. And she turned them, all 50 of them.
Why? Why not just turn Just make them fall softly. If you can turn someone into a bird, you can make them not kill themselves.
Yeah.
I'm done with
It's
her.
easier to turn them into birds.
I think that's her one power. I don't believe she's the goddess of war.
The commander. Anyway, so we're still at Aulus, and the commander Idomeneus was willing to lead the Cretan contingent in Mycenae's war against Troy.
Cretan contingent?
Yes, the people from Crete,
Oh,
the Cretan contingent.
okay.
Yeah. But only as co-commander, which he was granted. And then the last commander to arrive was Achilles. And remember, you were asking how old Achilles was. According to certain authors, Achilles was only 15 years old at this point. So
I'll be in charge.
so he was a commander of this army.
Uh-huh.
He was previously disguised in that
He's wiping off lipstick right now.
yeah, that place with the women. Yeah, he's probably still wearing. He's like taking out beach balls.
And he had a girlfriend back there, right?
Didamia.
Yeah.
So there are a lot of names here that exist on the Greek side of the army. I believe the most important names to remember at this point are Achilles, Odysseus, Agamemnon, Menelaus, Patroclus, and Ajax.
I will remember 2 of them.
Yeah. Does Ajax raise any eyebrows for you?
Yeah, I put it in my shower.
Yes, exactly. Ajax has become hence known as the most powerful cleaning product for your shower. This episode brought to you by Ajax. But Ajax is there's also 2 Ajaxes. There is this Ajax, and then there is Ajax the Lesser.
Oh,
And
that's his name?
well, it's just sort of how he's known.
Oh, God.
And they are both involved in the Trojan War. But at the beginning of the Trojan War, when I'm talking about Ajax, I'm talking about regular Ajax. At the end of the Trojan War, I'm talking about Ajax the Lesser.
Mike, I'm so grateful that they just called me Sarah W. in class.
Yeah.
There's multiple Sarahs.
Well, wouldn't you be happier though if they called you Sarah the Greater?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's because that is the implication here.
Yeah, exactly.
So after the Greek commanders all meet, following a sacrifice to Apollo, everyone watched as a snake slithered from the altar to a sparrow's nest in a tree nearby. It then ate the mother and her 9 babies. Then the snake was turned to stone.
I'm sorry?
Everyone witnessed this. They probably all did drugs together. Calchas, who was the expedition's soothsayer, interpreted this as a sign that Troy would fall in the 10th year of their war.
Well, that's an active imagination. That's what you got from that.
Yeah, let's see that a little bit. Again, please give me your Calchas impression upon witnessing this.
This is very troubling.
What is it, soothsayer?
Oh, you want my opinion?
Yeah.
No one else's opinion?
Just yours. You're the soothsayer.
Crazy shit we just saw?
Yeah, that was crazy.
Oh.
What could that possibly mean? It's got to mean something.
Oh, well, we got
that
a
bird
snake.
is stone now.
The bird's...
No, the snake is stone now. Yeah.
I'm stoned, but I'll give it a shot. Well, we got a snake, like you said, and then it ate...
It ate 9 babies and the mother.
Uh-oh. You know what that means, right?
No, we're counting on you.
You tell me. Oh, okay. It means there's a war coming up.
Yeah, that's why we're meeting.
Yep,
we know there's a war
there's
coming.
Uh-huh. And it's gonna last 10 birds.
10 birds? Oh my gosh.
Years?
10 years, that's even worse.
10 bird years.
Whoa. Are those the same as human years? Remains to be seen, right?
Ooh, I'm hungry.
When the Greeks left for war, guess what? They didn't know the way they were going. They landed in Mysia, which was ruled by King Telephus, who was the son of Hercules / Heracles. And King Telephus was leading there a contingent of Arcadians. And so immediately when the Arcadians saw the Greeks, they had a great battle. And during the battle, the Greeks got the upper hand, and Achilles ran up with his mighty spear, and he wounded King Telephus. And he did this sort of out of revenge because he had killed his friend Thersander, who was the king of Thebes. And this is all we'll hear of Thersander, but I wanted to mention that Thersander was survived by his son Tisamenus and his wife Demonassa. I just really like the name.
Demonassa.
It's like literally spelled demon ass with an A at the end. Demonassa.
Demonassa.
So she was probably very sad that her husband died. Yeah. So after the Arcadian defeat, Telephus was wounded and he retreated back to an he retreated and he went back to an oracle, and he was like, hey, great oracle. Well, you're very catty today. I'm severely wounded. Can you give me some sage advice,
you want
please?
some ointment? Oh, you want advice?
Well,
if I get hurt, I wash it, put some ointment on it.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is I'm here because I'm severely wounded.
Yeah. So maybe a doctor.
But it's not. I'm not wounded in a way that like I should die from it. But I feel I'm just not getting better.
Oh, 'cause you didn't wash it. You're dirty.
I might be a very dirty guy. Yeah.
Yeah. Telephone face.
It's Telephus.
All right.
Beyonce and Lady Gaga wrote a song about me. So the oracle responded simply, "He that wounded shall heal you."
I was gonna say that.
Yeah. How could you possibly know?
I have an oracle.
So when the Greek fleet sailed from Telephus's land of Mysia, they were scattered by a storm. And because they were scattered by a storm, Achilles landed in the land of Skyros, and Telephus was able to catch up to him. And so Telephus showed up and pretended to be a beggar, and in disguise, his like beard that he got from Party City. He's asking Agamemnon, like, "Please, I am but a beggar. Will someone help me heal my wound?"
No, you dirty person. Poor people die.
Yeah, that is a very Agamemnon thing to say. And he demanded too that Achilles be the one to heal him, and Achilles refused.
No shit.
Because he was like,
I'm not a doctor.
Exactly. He claimed to have no medical knowledge. Then Odysseus came up with just a real piece of like, boy, does he know what he's talking about. Odysseus said, well,
kiss the boo-boo.
The spear that caused the wound must be able to also heal it. And so, yeah, let's like scrape off some pieces of the spear.
Odysseus, you're so deep.
And like put it in the wound, and that will heal him.
Hi, I'm a doctor. I'm a doctor.
Get out of here.
Okay, bye.
Well, Odysseus's advice, as strange as that would sound, actually caused Telephus to be healed.
Ooh.
Telephus was so grateful that he told. What are you saying?
I mean, this is like what 1,000 years before they even learned what infection is. Of course, they think shove some more metal in it.
Yeah. Well, it's that sort of like hair of the dog sort of thing. Like like the spear caused it, so it's the spear's fault. The spear must make a sacrifice of itself.
Spear, say sorry. Say sorry. You give him a kiss, spear.
Yeah. So they gave it basically. Yeah. They had the spear give.
I was just playing.
Yeah. The spear has a lot of personality. This Telephus then was so grateful for being alive now that he decided to give them the map or show them the way to Troy. Here, you scamps. You killed all my men and you nearly killed me, but go off to Troy and murder all of them.
Boys will be boys.
As for the storm that scattered their fleet, Calchas was again requested to explain, like, Calchas, tell us why this storm scattered our fleet.
Oh, you want your ships to go to the correct place.
Yes, we do.
So if the sun comes out and you get a compass, there you shall be.
Oh, I get it. So you're saying that the storm was actually a punishment from the goddess Artemis, and she's punishing Agamemnon because he killed either a sacred deer or a deer in a sacred grove?
That's what I just fucking said.
Thank you so much, Calchas. We're so happy to have you as a soothsayer. That was what Calchas said. He said, yeah, Agamemnon, you killed either a sacred deer or a deer that was in a sacred grove, and it angered Artemis, and that's why our fleet has been scattered. And he also advised the only way to appease Artemis is to sacrifice Agamemnon's daughter, Iphigenia.
Hey, you're just saying that because you don't like me.
you look ridiculous in that top, and I bought it first.
It's weird we're wearing the same thing.
So Calchas apparently forgets or
It's full of shit.
is full of shit that the gods don't like human sacrifice.
Yeah.
We've read plenty of other myths that say don't sacrifice your children, we don't like it.
Ew. What are we supposed to do with this?
Ew, we don't like human heads. Ew. But Agamemnon refused because he's like, I sort of like my daughter alive. I'm not going to do that. So, as a result, the commanders who were behind Calchas's foretelling decided to make Palamedes the co-commander of the expedition and sort of reduce Agamemnon's rank. But in other versions of this myth, Agamemnon said, okay, and decided to perform the sacrifice. And then like right before he was about to, like, let's say if Iphigenia is like tied up at a stake and they're about to like burn her to death or something, like last minute he like throws a deer and like knocks Iphigenia out of the way, and instead they sacrifice the deer, and everyone's like, okay, cool, that still works. Or no one noticed because he did it so quickly. There's another version where at the last moment, Artemis, who is like, huh, what? Like watching what's happening in her name, is like, no, I don't want you to sacrifice a girl for this. I'm like a protector of maidens. And so she like whisked down last minute and like took
Knock
her
it
away.
off.
Yeah, knock it off, boys. And so then she did that and instead like dropped a lamb in her place, like a non-sacred lamb, I would assume. And just like, kill that instead. Bye.
Lamb chops, underwear, a fitting pair that you can wear.
What are you talking about?
That's a real commercial.
Okay.
You don't remember that?
I do not.
It was after lamb chops on TV, and then they would play
Lamb chops play along with Sherry Lewis.
Yeah, and there was an actual commercial. I cannot find it on the internet, but I
sounds
remember
like
that
something you
song
might have
forever.
made up.
No, lamb chops, underwear, a fitting pair that you can wear. Do you think I made that up?
Yes.
Maybe.
The archivist Hesiod says that after this occurred, Iphigenia was then morphed into the goddess Hecate, which you remember our episode about Hecate. Hecate was around during the Titanomachy. So Hesiod, I say to that, go home, you're drunk, because that ruins the timeline tremendously. But yeah. So after all of this, the winds stopped though, because I bet Artemis was just so frustrated by what these guys decided to do in her name, and was like, okay, fine, I'll make the storm go away. And all 1,000 of the ships reconvened, got back together, and are now heading straight with battle flags drawn, sailing upon Troy. And that is where we end today's episode.
Cliffhanger.
Yeah, it is like, I feel like that's where we left Game of Thrones too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, but there's no perfectly round tuchus.
There's no perfectly round tuchus. Oh, you're talking about
Jon Snow's beautiful butt.
Jon Snow's beautiful butt. Yeah. All right. Bling 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 bling.
Hello.
bling.
Are you having questions about your future? Well, call me Cassandra. I'm a psychic, and I can prophesize things for you. Hey, we have a caller on the line.
Hey, I just wanted to call and say that you're shit.
Oh.
I think everything that you say is a lie even before I hear it. So
Click. I don't know why I took that call. I saw it coming. We have another call on the line. They have a real question for me.
Hi. Yeah, I was wondering like what tomorrow's lotto numbers are.
11, 14, 86, 99999.
99999. That's bogus. I'm
swear.
gonna do the opposite.
No.
I'd rather be poor than listen to
You
you.
will be poor. Well, we have time for one more caller, and then I'm going to go back into my tower and cry. Caller, you're on the line?
Hey, sis, it's Paris. I just wanted to, like, not really a prophecy, but so much as, like, your blessing upon my union with Helen.
No. I've told you this 1,000 times, Paris. That cunt will break us all. God, you're making me so English. I'm getting so angry.
I would just like to pray upon Apollo right now to give me the power
not
to
him.
spit into your mouth over the phone.
How could you do it?
Thank you, Apollo.
That was meaty. All right, well, this is the worst job, but I make no money at it. I'll be back on air tomorrow.
Bling, 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 bling. Cassandra's hotline. Well, thanks once again for joining us for another episode of Myth Understood.
Yep.
I am so sorry for myself
Everything.
that the Trojan War is taking so long, but my God, is it just like the longest, most intense piece of mythology?
I'm having fun not just getting to the meat of it. I like all the stuff around it.
It just like I want buckets of blood. And boy, there's gonna be a lot of death that will occur. I mean, we haven't even gotten to Hector, who is leader of the Trojan forces. One of my favorite little side stories about Penthesilea. It's there's some crazy shit that's gonna
Well, shut
occur.
the fuck up and tell me about it later.
I will, yeah. And if you would like to communicate with us more on social media, tell me more ways that I'm wrong, you can follow us on Twitter and Instagram at _mythunderstood.
And you can follow us personally at the Paul Bianchi. We know that's key with a CH, as he told us in the beginning.
Uh-huh.
And at the Sarah Oliver.
Please rate and review us on iTunes or wherever you listen. And share with a friend who needs to learn more things about Greek mythology.
You know you got some dumb friends.
Yeah.
There's one of me in every group.
Be sure to follow at It's Dragon Wagon on all social media and show your support at dragonwagonradio.com/support because we need support for us.
I'm done with this.
Sarah just left. That's how we'll end this episode. Thank you. Hey, Sarah.
What?
Did you know that there is no god of records?
That's actually not true because we have him right here. It's Matt Kessler.
What?
It's me. I'm the god of records. Hi, guys. I just want to tell you guys my podcast. If you guys have a minute, I'd love to tell you about
We
it.
have exactly 1 minute.
Okay, so I have a podcast called Too Many Records, and it's because I have too many records and I love music, and I talk to my friends and random people who also love music about music and records.
Where can I listen to it?
iTunes, Stitcher, and like other podcast places.
If I were a record, what would I be?
Donna Summer.
Oh, yeah.
I can see that.
It's Dragon Wagon.